I just jump back to time history, nothing's permanent in NoiseTools. So if 6 months later you come back to this measurement and you think, what on earth did I care about the LAP for? I was having a bad moment, I should have had a coffee or a cup of tea. Just untick it and it disappears. So it's not permanent. Tick whatever you like. If you decide you don't need that data, untick it there. You'll also notice I have a little red line here. So I tried to generate an overload yesterday. This was the measurement I took yesterday. Banged near the microphone capsule. Please don't do that with yours. So this was just letting me know that it's gone over some values, and that's maybe something you need to drill into and take into consideration. Also, there are a few other things that we can do here in our time history screen. Now, if you only remember one thing about NoiseTools, please let it be this. If you put your cursor over any graph or table within NoiseTools, if you can just remember to right-click with your mouse, an awful lot of what you need to do will appear in that little grey box. So you can add annotations if you wish. If you are using an Optimus Green meter, you can tell it to show you any audio markers or any mark of any audio recordings made. These little blue squigglies down here are graphical representations of an audio file. So were I to go to view settings, tell it to show me audio markers, click OK, it's going to highlight my audio for me. And if I produce a report, again, I'm just going to use the shortcut, but you can do the shortcut from in the middle of the screen by right-clicking. That part of me, let me just stick to it up on here, quick report. And then if I jump to page 2, so you'll notice the LAP that I unticked has now been removed. If I jump to page 2, there's all my audio recordings. And that can be quite interesting because it will give me an average value for those audio recordings, tell me how many times audio was recorded and how long it all lasted. I'm just going to go back to time history. And I'm just going to right click with my mouse, go to view settings and remove the audio markers for a moment. I'd like to show you something. The audio markers are environmental purposes for those who have an Optimus Green. The next step is the idea is to benefit anybody. If you've got a red or a green or those badges, you can do the following. So I'm just going to use my mouse. I'm pressing down with the left key and I'm going to drag across. I'm going to put my cursor in the middle and I'm going to mark it up. Now I'm going to give this, I'm not going to be particularly creative with the name. I'm going to call it label. You can call it a real thing, such as dog barking if it was nuisance noise, or shift changeover if it was noise at work, something like that. So I press OK, and now I've turned that little area into its own measurement. So if I put my cursor here, the second box says label, and it's giving me my own LAEQ and LCEQ for the area that I've highlighted. And if I do this again, so say it's the same event happening again and again. So I'm going to again drag with my mouse, mark up, give it a name, label. I'm going to do it again, mark it up again, call it label. But I'm going to do another one now. I'm going to mark it up, but I'm going to create a new marker type. I shall still call it label, but I'm going to make it purple instead, or blue. And then I'm going to go and generate another quick report. Same thing on this screen. I'm going to jump to page 2. I've now got label. Everything I called label and coloured green, the software understands that's the same thing. You've told it that's the same event. So it's going to give you an average value. It's going to give you the total duration for how long that event happened, or those events happened, the combined time, and then how many times. But look underneath. Because I called the last marker I did, the fourth marker, I still called it label, but I coloured it blue. So the software thinks it's a different thing. So it's not included it with the other labels. Also, if I'd have left it green, but spelt label with a lowercase l instead of the capital L, then the software would have thought that's a separate thing. So even though the colour's the same, because I've gone from uppercase to lowercase on the L, it thinks it's a different thing. So this is just a way for you to break up your measurements, highlight specific things that were maybe an issue, and see how often that happened. And what's the value of that? If we took that away, what sort of levels are we left with then? Back to time history. For those of you that do have an Optimus Green, it's probably a good idea to show you just briefly how to play audio. Just to reiterate, this is an overview to try and cover as many people as possible. Noise at work and environmental would be more specific. But to play audio, so I don't want you to wait, If you just click on the audio file that you're interested in, the software zooms you into that, so it makes it a little bit easier to see the graph. Now that looks a bit strange, but it's because it's a brief measurement. Play your audio. You probably gathered, keep it straightforward here. Look, you've got a play button. Please press that. I'm not sure what I monitored, I can't recall now, but let me just, I'm not going to pause. Actually, if you need to listen to something again, you can skip that. And you can skip back again and again if you need to listen to something. You can also jump to the next audio recording. Apologies for that. What happened there? That was my speaker. Hopefully, here you are trying to learn how to use software to protect people's hearing, and then I damage yours. Terribly sorry. So I'm definitely not going to play that one again, but I can skip to audio files. Let me just, I'm just going to stop this. I'm going to right click and I'm going to zoom all. If I put my mouse over, right click over that audio file, I can look at the audio list and I can just jump to whichever audio recording I'm interested in. And if I zoom into one, right click that particular audio file, I can export that audio and it will be a WAV file, uncompressed WAV file. So if you need to use that audio recording in court, you'll be able to do so. Let me just zoom all again. That's our time history tab.